wanna be me. We just really can't be seen. Really they can't see. Nobody does it better. I'm sitting here tripping, my mind is blocked. Nate Dogg just did it, so it's time to concoct. No one can do it better like this two-man crew. They say we one-hitter quitters. Now what y'all gon' do? Always into something, that's my name. Only out for money, hey, cause that's the game. People always ask me why I'm out for scratch. All who has the most is he who won the match. Always into something, that's my name. Only out for money, hey, cause that's the game. People always ask me why I'm out for scratch. He who has the most is he who won the match. Strike one, me and Nate Dogg is a match. Strike two, leave them standing still in their tracks. Strike three, you can call us 213. It's the L and the B that makes me act like a G. Strike one, me and Nate Dogg is a match. Strike two, leave them standing still in their tracks. Strike three, you can call us.
What's up, y'all? It's Lil WB back at it again with the SlabOgsTv Podcast. We got my boy J-Rock up in here. We got Mike up in here. We got the legendary Ernest up in here. And we got Ernest Jr. up in here. So, man, we had you on. I think I had you on maybe like episode 6, 7, 8, one of those a while back, you know what I'm saying? And since then, you know, the channel then grew a lot. For the people that really just don't know or just, you know, they coming new to the slab game, learning the history of it, you know what I'm saying? Keep run down, you know, your history on building these cars, how you got into building these cars, and specifically, you know, talking about your pops.
Well, man, you know, it started when I was young, real young, man. My brother-in-law, he used to work at this Mercedes-Benz dealership, and we met him. He, you know, used to stay right there on the end of my mama's street, and he used to use my dad's garage to paint cars and do stuff like that. And he ended up talking to one of my sisters. They ended up getting married, and they really opened the door for me because I always have love, you know, cars and bikes and all this different stuff, man. And every time he painted a car, I would go and get my bike and take it apart and sand it down. So, man, my bike was so many colors. Mm-hmm. My bike was so many colors, man, because, you know, like I said, I always love this stuff. And, man, he the one really taught me how to, you know, grow my passion for this stuff. So I was never afraid to just jump off in the middle of something, man, and just go for it. You know what I'm saying? So I met Byron Mack, and he had a slant. And he wanted my brother to do the lights. Mm. That's when they very first started doing the 90 lights and all this stuff on the cars. So,
how old was y'all at this time?
Man, I was like 17, 18, you know, like that. Yeah, I was getting ready to, you know, that just pretty much graduated high school. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, and after that, man, it really just took off from there.
But before that, you was actually hands-on, like building some of these cars. Cause from my understanding, you built your Fleetwood that you went to prom with, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I went to my prom in 1990. I went to my prom in a 79 Fleetwood. Mm. Fleetwood, pretty much always really been my car of choice. I love Fleetwoods. I can't count the Fleetwoods I had, but yeah, I went to prom with a white Fleetwood, purple top, purple pearl. Mm. I wore a white tuxedo with a purple cummerbund, purple bow tie. Mm. And my date, she had a purple dress, and it was the exact same color of my top. And back in the day, we used to have silk shirts. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had my silk shirt hanging in the back window. So after the prom, I could get out all them clothes and put my silk shirt on. You know what I'm saying? I always have like the match everything, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like to match, make sure everything contrasts and everything look nice and neat, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a firm believer, when you try to do too much, then you're doing too much, because it don't take that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, less is more. Yeah.
And I know you said Byron Mack was over there at the time putting the slant together with your brother-in-law. So it was a lot of dudes on the north side during that time going to your brother-in-law?
Byron really was the first one, and after that, it really, because he knew so many people, so that kind of really opened the door for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a lot of little foot soldiers, and we started doing these cars, man. I started doing stuff for all of them. And it just went from, man,
like in the early days.
Yeah, Lil E, DD Mac, you know what I'm saying? Boogaloo, people like that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just people all through North, the city gas. Just, and then it just went from there on and on and on. Northwood Manor, Cynicwood, Rosewood. It just went from, you know what I'm saying? I started doing stuff for everybody then, because once they seen the work and my name started ringing in the street, everybody wanted to come to me. So when they very first started putting all these different, like, that's what started the lines. You know what I'm saying? I started the brown lines, the cobalt blue lines, you know what I'm saying? The candy orange lines. Byron always loved red. That was his colors, red. You know what I'm saying? So, and it just opened the door from that. Now it's like everybody in the neighborhood, if you was from a neighborhood, you see a group of cars and you already know where they from. And that grew into how they doing it now. You know what I'm saying?
Lakewood riding then?
Man, Lakewood was really just scattered at first. You know what I'm saying? They was scattered, but you know what I'm saying? They started painting, cobalt blue and different colors like that. But yeah, they started, that's what they started with though.
Okay. And most of the time, like in the early days, you was building these cars at your mom's house, or is this the point where you went to see King?
No, I started in the yard, but I ended up, what happened, this how I got to see King. I had my car in Seed King, and a man named Tom bought the shop. And when he bought the shop, he still had all the workers that was at the shop before the previous owner, because the previous owner ended up going to jail. So he ended up buying the shop, and he seen me in there all the time, and he didn't know how to deal with these type of people. So what he did, he played it smart. He knew I was always there, and I was up there messing with my own stuff. So he actually asked me, could I, come in with him, and he'll make me a partner so I can really deal with the black people. Because like I say, he didn't know nothing about the business. He just seen an opportunity, and he seen all the traffic and stuff and how the people was coming to, to get this type of stuff done. And he just capitalized on it. And I just stayed there with him, and it grew from there.
At that point, when you was over there, was there any other shops on the north side people was going to?
Not really, man. You had Titwell right there on the corner, Titwell by the tracks. They was doing cars, and it was a spot over there in Fifth Ward off of Cavalcade. They was doing a little something. And
was Street Dreams on the north side?
No, Street Dreams was on West Park. That was out there on West Park.
Okay.
Yeah. That guy now named Guy. That was Guy, yeah.
And everybody, like when people talk about them early days, like when you was building them cars, they was making it seem like you were just young putting these cars together, like 19, 20, 21. Yeah,
that's pretty much, that's real. That's true.
And that was the time you was at C. King.
Yeah. Like I said, it was like right after high school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna tell you about this. Like I say, my cousins they grew up in Northwood Manor, so I ended up seeing a 70 Coupe de Ville down the street from my cousin's house. And this old man, he had the car. And I was like, man, I always have little convertible cars. And I was like, man, I told my cousin, I said, man, I want to get that car. So we went knocked on the door one day, and I asked the man, would he sell the car? And he told me, yeah, he'll sell it. So I ended up buying that car, and my cousin pulled me to my mama's house with a chain with that car. And at that time, Byron Mack had that 75 L-Dog. I had the 70 Coupe de Ville. Yeah. And I ended up going red first. I didn't go red like they going out. I went a red with a different base. It wasn't bright like the apple over silver. You know what I'm saying? I picked a different, you know what I'm saying? Cause like I said, I'll never be like nobody. So Byron was one color and I was another color. but I ended up switching up and I went purple. When the purple came out, I liked that purple. So I switched up a little bit.
You was the first one to do purple.
I am. That's what I'm telling you. I was the first one to do purple. I was the first one to do drink. I was the first one to paint that. Yeah.
Who was the first one to have a drink car? Because I know people be
the first person that had a drink car was Tootie Rabbit. Yeah. That was the very first. He had a Lincoln. And I did that car. Man, I actually painted that car like 3 times. I painted that car. Somebody ended up jacking him for the car at the car wash or something. Somehow they got the car from him, so he get the car back. And I repainted the car. And then this man, I guess, you know, them cars, they kind of change you. They change who you are, you know what I'm saying? So he ended up messing with a lot of girls and stuff, and he ended up having a baby from somebody else. And, you know, his wife got mad and she scratched the car up, you know what I'm saying? So I had to go back in the lab and repaint the car again.
I heard a story on how you came up with that specific color, so I'm gonna see if you know what I'm talking about.
Man, honestly, when the color first came out, it was in California first. And that's, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up coming across the color, and I always like to stay on top of the books at the very top, because that's where all the bright colors is. So they always come to me and ask me, you know what I'm saying? They pretty much give me choice of what color to go. They always ask me, E, what color gonna hold? What color's gonna kill? And so, like I said, I always like to try to mix it up. So when he brought me that Lincoln and he let me pick the color, I picked that color for him.
Somebody told me that somebody around had like some syrup or something. They sat it right there. You was like,
no, not what. I'm finna tell you what happened.
It's me again, Chris Ward, Yellowstone spokesman, representing for H-Town. What we have here, the Swag and Dragon, a pull tab game at H-Town Bingo. Come out, bring your family, bring your friends. At H-Town Bingo, it's 3 locations on the north. You can come and have fun, but you can leave having fun. My name again is Chris Ward, C Wiggity, C Dot. Anywho, be on the lookout for hopscotch. If you already seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't, you'll see it. You'll see it differently. You'll see it again. But just pay attention. Motion picture. Swag and Dragon, commissioned by the Texas Lottery, by the way. 5/16/25. Yeah.
That's when everybody was really drinking the syrup. You know what I'm saying? They drinking the bar, sipping on the bar and all this stuff. So I actually looked at it, and I looked at it in the light. And when I seen that color in the on that book, in the House of Color book, I said, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Since everybody, you know what I'm saying, everybody, you know, drinking syrup, yeah, I'm finna put that syrup on this Lincoln. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did, man. Okay. Yeah. And you know, Acres Home, you know, Billy Ray was one of my buddies. That was my little buddy. He always used to come up there and hang up there with me at the shop. So they couldn't afford my work because I go far and beyond. So what he did, he ended up letting Airline paint his car, but he seen that color and he liked that color, and he ended up painting his car that color. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like mine, but you know, it was that color. Yeah. Yeah. And he started calling this stuff Drink Boulevard. Yeah, but that was my buddy, man. Yeah. R.I.P. Billy Ray, that was my buddy, man.
Okay. And can we slow it down just a little bit and you just explain to them the cars that you personally had, that you personally put together for yourself? Because I didn't heard so many different cars, the Suburban, the station wagon.
Wow. Okay. When I was in high school, I had a 79 Trans Am. That was the very first car I had. And like I said, I had an eye for them spokes. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was young, my uncle had an Eldorado. He had an Eldorado Baritz, hardtop. And I always wanted to be like my uncle. You know what I'm saying? And that really, I didn't want that race car look. I wanted, you know what I'm saying, a different look. So my daddy gave me that Trans Am. And me and my brother, we did little graphics on it, made it nice and pretty and neat. You know what I'm saying? I made the book at the school. They put it in our senior year book, you know what I'm saying? But before prom, I said, man, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get this Fleetwood. You know what I'm saying? And purple is my favorite color. Purple and gold is my colors. You know what I'm saying? So what I did, he didn't want me to sell the Trans Am, and my mama said, "Hey, Charles, you gave the boy the car. It's his car. He ought to be able to do whatever he want to do with it." So I was mad. He didn't want me to sell a car, but you know how the women, when they get that man in that room, when you come out, they get the results. You know what I'm saying? So she said, "Hey, you can sell a car." And that's when my dad let me sell that car. And I went and bought a 79 Fleetwood, man. And it was hitting the quarter panel. And my classmates, they come to the house. They laughed because my brother cut the quarter panel out so you could see in the trunk. So they was laughing like, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to have this car ready for my prom. I'm going to have it ready for prom." So what ended up happening, a few weeks later, I ended up getting the top put on. My brother-in-law painted the car white with the purple. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first slab. So when I graduated high school, that's what I had. But right after, I got a Park Avenue because everybody had Park Avenues and I wanted to get in that number. So I ended up getting a gray Park Avenue. I painted it gray, like the color they ride now that looked like prime almost. I painted it gray and I put the yellow pearl. That's when pearl was really popular. You know what I'm saying? Whatever color your pearl, that's what color your top and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because Danny Bell, Lakewood on the other side, he had a great Park Avenue with that bubblegum blue top, man. Ooh, man. And I'm telling you, everybody was talking about that car because the top was so just, when you see it, you can see it miles away. So I'm like, I'm not finna copy. So that's when I done my car, a different shade of gray, and I put yellow pearl. I did the seats back over factory gray, and I did yellow piping with a yellow top. And I like that yellow because the Vols, it matched. So, man, I was the talk of the town with that because it separated me. But that was my second one. And then after that, I ended up getting a Regal. I used to like the little Regals. I bought a Regal from one of my classmates. And like I say, I love purple. So I ended up painting it purple, white interior, white top. And I slabbed that one. Like I say, I put that one out there. And then I'm trying to think, where did I go after that? Oh, I had a Jeep Cherokee. When everybody started riding Jeeps, but they had 5 Daytons. But you know me, I'm black. I ride elbows, baby. Yeah. I put 5 elbows on mine. I painted mine candy orange. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm a man of color. I painted mine candy orange. I had white interior, orange piping. I put a box back there with 2 15s. And you know how they do it. Back in the day, you had 4 6x9, 2 15s. And that's what I had in my Jeep. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to tell you, boy, you could hear it from miles away because all that glass. Yeah, shattered and sound like it's just something, just making a bunch of noise, like, you know what I'm saying? So you get a lot of attention. And man, after that, it took off from there, man. I just went crazy with it.
When was the station wagon? That's the one I always hear about.
Station wagon was next. My buddy, man, George Murphy, R.I.P., that was my brother. Rosewood. That man had that white 6'4" wagon. And man, I always looked up the man. I said, man, I gotta have one. I was looking. This Mexican guy said, man, I know about one of them wagons. It's in the junkyard in San Antonio. And I gave him the money, man. And that man went and got that car out the junkyard and brought it to me. When a record driver brought that car to my mama's house, my mama stood in that door and she said, boy, you done got something out the graveyard to put you in your grave. Yeah. So what I ended up doing after that, I ended up taking it to Steve King. And I started, doing, getting the body work and stuff done on it. And I was in my mind, I always had a design of mine. I ended up putting, the wagon with no super sport. But what I did, I ended up getting the bucket seats out of a 6'4" Super Sport. And I put those seats in the station wagon and I put the console 2 out of the 6'4" into the station wagon. I'm the very first person at the time, my Astrovans and Suburbans had the 3rd brake light on top. So I was like, thinking one day, I'm like, man, I want to put more light back in, just a little bit of lights. So I went Landmark Chevrolet, man, and bought me a 3rd brake light. And I put that 3rd brake light on top of that station wagon. And then I say, shit, I got to put a fifth on there. I say, I don't even care about letting that back door down. That don't mean nothing to me. I got to give them 5.
You chromed under the hood out too, right?
Yeah, I had all the engine compartment, the different alternators, all that was chromed and everything. But man, I painted it candy gold, man. I painted it candy gold, man. And boy, when I painted that car candy gold and came down Homestead, man, if they didn't know, they knew after that.
Yeah, that's the one I always
they knew after that, man.
And I know you just mentioned that Regal a minute ago. I gotta ask for my uncle Fred Love, what's the Regal Boys?
Man, the Regal Boys, it was a guy named Grady from 5th Ward. He had a green one. It was another guy, he had a burgundy one. Fred Love had one. Man, it was a bunch of them, to be honest with you. It was a bunch of them. They call themselves the Regal Boys. It was a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't actually get to just ride with them.
But at that time, the Regal was like the...
Man, at that time, the Regals was it was a Regal and the Cutlass, but the Regal was the one, because the Regals, they looked it so good on wheels, man. It looked like just like a little matchbox, and the wheels would sit up under, and the car would sit so nice and pretty. You know what I'm saying? And back then, everybody was going white interior. So at night, just think you got a nice, pretty color on there. Man, people used to ride down Homestead with they dome lights on. Look like they glowing inside the car. You know what I'm saying? It was a good look, man. Yeah, it was a really good look. Yeah.
Then y'all have a bunch of STSs too that y'all had fixed up?
Yeah, we started doing STSs too. Yeah, we started doing STSs. Yeah. I had a candy gold STS.
And I see that's what I remember on the other side of the lake, Ogno. That's why I ain't want to say it when you was talking, but yeah, I come up, I see you when you used to hit everything you used to have, hit Ogno.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on the other side of Ogno, right there.
Yeah, exactly.
4th house from the corner.
Yeah.
So what's some of the cars you remember seeing pulling up over there in Lakewood?
Like you say, that STS for sure. And what is he at? He had something else on some choppers. Yeah, something else.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say next.
Yeah, something else.
It's been so long ago. So
yeah, for real,
I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it in order. But man, they start this another thing that got me. Everybody started doing trophy trucks and Suburbans. You know what I'm saying? Like on the South. You know what I'm saying? They was playing with it. They had all them different color Suburbans, them Anaheims, Trail Bosses, all them different, all them different conversion packages. And man, they all had wood grain stripes. They was painting them candy. But everybody, they had 17-inch choppers. They had 17-inch choppers. So I ended up getting a Suburban. And I'm like, man, I got to put that gold on that thing, man. And I ended up getting some personalized plates. My license plate say bus 1. And it actually meant a couple of things. You know what I'm saying? People's mind was crazy, but
didn't you have wood strip on there about something like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you. Yeah, it's definite, most definite. Man, I ended up doing that Suburban candy gold, wood grain stripe. I had back in the day, they had Sony Unilink. Well, you know what I'm saying? I seen it first in Corey Blunt car. When I went out there on the South, a dude named what's that big head dude? He did music, and it was not too far from Guy out there on West Park. And I seen the L Dog out there, and I was looking at it, man, and it was all nice and neat. You know what I'm saying? I never met Corey Blunt, but I heard a lot about him. And because at first he was going to Surround by Sound when it was right there on our side of town off of 10 right there. But it ended up out there, and they was doing something with the music. And man, I looked in the car, and man, it had everything Sony Unilink. That means everything just plugged together. Everything, your disc changer, your TVs, everything linked together. And when you turn it on, whatever in your disc changer, it's all on the screen. So I was like, wow. So I took that concept and I was like, I'm gonna do this bourbon like that. And then y'all know them travel buses when they going back and forth to Louisiana, taking them people you see all them TVs in the seats. So I'm like, man, this ain't nothing but a bus. They call a Suburban a bus. So what I did, I say, yeah. So I ended up getting a hold to some Sony Unilink stuff. And that's what I did to my bourbon, man. Back in the day, the radio was right here. And you had to, like, when you put your CD over here. So what I did, I took that part out and I put a TV right there. I took my glove box, I cut a hole in it, I put a TV right there. In my console at the bottom, it was a TV right there. And then I put TVs all the seats. And then after I did that, we call them chicken lights. Them little smoke lights. The truck had so much wood on the inside, so much wood. And it had them little smoke lights.
Yeah.
So at night, you could see through the windows and you can see all the lights and then you can see all them TVs, man. And you can see everything that I got on my screens. And you see all the screens in the thing, man. And when I went to Don Fields them up there, Tire Wheel Connection, they was on Tidwell and Shepherd on the corner. I went in there and I said, Don, man, what's the biggest monoblock they sell? He said, man, they got 19s. He said, but what you talking about? I said, hey, man, I'm going to the Bayou Classic. He said, man, don't tell me what, I feel where you're going with this. I said, yeah, man. He said, cuz it's going to break. It's too heavy. It's too heavy. I said, I'm going to tell you something. I don't give a damn if the wheel roll off this bastard. I'm going to the Bayou Classic and I'm going with 19. So you might well order. Because I always like to be the man when it comes to that. Man, he ordered them and I put 19-inch blocks on that Bourbon. Right next door, they had a place named Ultimate Effects. Dude named Vernon. Vernon, they lowered my truck. So he told me, come check your truck out. When I was pulling in, Vernon was leaving out in my truck. And man, with the running boards on it, he had squat that truck on top of them 19s. And boy, when that sun hit, you see that. That's all you see. You see that in the buildings and the windows and all that. I was like, oh, I'm like, that's my truck. You know what I'm saying, boy? And I just got chill bumps, man. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Man, my partner seen that truck. He said, nigga, you the bus driver. And ever since then, man, it really took off from there, man.
Man, you just named so many cars you done put together for yourself. And I know you said on the last video we just did that, you know, it was people saying that you didn't pull out back then.
Oh yeah, I pull a lot. We used to go to Bayou Classic every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell y'all this story here, man. Yeah, I got to tell y'all this story. That's why the South, I know a lot of the guys on the South because from that truck right there, because that's what everybody was doing on the South and then with that many people on the North doing that. So man, we in Bayou Classic. We on Canal. It's cool outside, but it's beautiful. The sun is out. So me and my cousin, we too deep. Me and my cousin, we ride. Man, we hit Canal, man. And we in the shoulder lane. And all of a sudden, he said, Ernest, they coming, man, they coming. I said, who? Man, all them niggas in them Suburbans. Man, so I'm in my own lane. Like I always like to be in my own lane, baby. Man, them niggas started coming. Man, it had to be about 7 or 8 of them. Single file line. They rolling. Every time one of them pull up by my window, man, all they do, they let the window down. They all did the same thing. They let the window down. They done this here, man. That's it. And they would point at me like, man, he'll pull out of the way, the next one come up. They point like, boy, because that gold's so bright, man. And man, I'm telling you, they got 17s. Them 2 inches made a difference, man. Mm-hmm. When I say made a difference, they made a difference. It looked like my wheel was this big because my truck was sitting on top of them. And man, we was just creeping down there, man. But they showed love, man. Yeah. They gave it up to me, man. So yeah, I took a liking to them, man, because they was just real. They knew that, you know, I was somebody, man. Mm. Yeah.
Man. So going from Seed King to FlyRydes, what was that transition?
Well, I had bounced your own shop. Well, I ended up bouncing around because what happened, Tom is who I was with. He ended up selling. What happened? A guy named Jerry Palmer had a body shop, and he was in the body shop with a guy named Tim Cotton, and they ended up splitting up. But Jerry had tow trucks, and Tim had the body shop. But somehow they ended up splitting up. So now Jerry got a big old body shop, and he don't know nothing about it. He just know about the tow trucks. And so what happened, he came to my shop because everybody was telling him, hey, Ernest. So I ended up going over there with him. He said, hey, man, you can have all the body shop. I'm going to do the record trucks, and you run the body shop. So I was like, I told Tom, and now this time, like Tom brought me in, I brought Tom in. And so when I brought Tom in, Jerry had a contract with the city where we was working on all the city vehicles. And me and Tom were splitting that. And Jerry, he really just baited me in to learn the business. Once he learned the business, he kind of put me out. So I didn't have nowhere to go. So I ended up having to leave. So I ended up going with Eric on Titwells, a guy named Eric on Titwell. I stayed over there for a little while just to kind of, figure out my way. And Tom ended up buying a shop on Little York. I went over there on Little York. Then I started doing a lot of stuff on Little York. Tom ended up letting me be over there with him. And he kind of got a little, want me to leave when he leave and all that. Like, like he didn't trust me or whatever. So I ended up breaking away from Tom. I went right around the corner on Cooper Street, and I was doing a lot of work on Cooper Street. That's when this guy, the same guy that I'm finna shoot this movie with, Keon, he ended up bringing Chameleon out to me. He met Chameleon out because he was doing a lot of graphic stuff for Chameleon now. And he told Chameleon, man, I got somebody you need to meet. Because Chameleon was finna do a Turn It Up video. And man, that man came to my shop. And when he came in that door and he looked around, he looked at me like, man, why are you not rich? And I said, man, people don't, they don't be want to spend no money, man. I take pride in what I do. And this stuff costs money. They don't be want to pay. He said, man, I'm going to help you. He said, man, I got a video finna come out. Turn it up. He said, man, you'll be in my video? You bring some cars? I said, yeah. I said it so easy. I guess he didn't believe me because he don't know me. Man, a couple of days before the video, that man called me. He said, man, you gonna be at the video? I said, man, if I tell you I'm gonna be there. So when I went over there on the video, where they did the video, they was already shooting when I got over there. Man, when he seen me turn the corner with all them cars, that man stopped what he was doing, stopped the cameras and got out. That man came over there. He told me, said, man, I got you. I promise you, I got you. Whenever, I got you. Whatever you need, I got you. But that's when he really he really knew then that I was a man of my word, man. And I really made him look the way he was trying to look because he really didn't deal with a bunch of stuff. But he wanted to have the image of the car person. And so what I did, I made that happen for him to make him be the car man. And it took off from there, man. Yeah, it really took off from there.
Yeah, and then that's when FlyRydes came.
Yeah, when my daddy passed, I changed the name of my shop because I named it Visible Changes because I wanted you to see it was a visible change. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You could actually see the change. You know what I'm saying? But when my daddy died, one of my a little guy, a dude I grew up with, Jabbar Watson, he called my daddy the Fly. He said, "You the Fly." I mean, so your daddy the Fly and you the Bug. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He really had a, he had a way with words. But yeah, so I changed my shop to FlyRydes, man, and then I started branding it, putting my daddy's face out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's how, and it just took off from there.
Would you say at that point, like people wouldn't, I mean, they was paying for your work, but they was paying for your vision because they would drop a car off to you and really not damn near say like what they wanted to do to it. It was pretty much on you.
Yeah. I just told them, this is what I always used to tell people. You put me on the street and I'll find the house. Just like that. Meaning you kind of let me know what you want and what you like. Like I'll say, what color you like? I say, just tell me 2-3 different colors. And they tell me. And when they do, when they come back and see what I've done, they be excited. I ain't never had a person that was, that didn't like what I done for them. Never. Chameleon that found an old car. He was like, man, I got a car. I want you to do it for me. Kind of look like a 6'4". That man bought me a 67 Plymouth Fury. The car was ugly as hell. When I seen it, I said, yeah, man, I could do something to it, man. I'd do something to it. And I knew he liked brandy wine. So I said, yeah, I got you. I painted the car brandy wine, suicide at the doors, put Gucci inserts in the seats, done a console like a wave, and right in the back where it come through the middle of the seats, I cut the seats in half to make it like it was bucket seats. Now everybody doing it now. And when I did that, I put his emblem in the middle, the lizard, and it lit up red. And up under the console, it was all red like it was floating. And man, he loved that car. And he kept that car. When he moved from Houston, he took that car to LA with him.
That's the one he still got, right?
He still got that
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
And he still got the other car from Turn It Up video that I built for Harold Cheney that was red, that L-Dog. It was Drop Dog. That was one of the first ones, too, after the one Corey Blunt did. Yeah.
Man. So where your vision come from with this shit? Because I know we were talking outside and you were just telling me the intricate details that you was going to do to your next car, the one you just did. Like, it's like really, really detailed shit. Like when you saying taking the tail lights out, taking the bulbs out and putting LED in there.
Man, it's just, I don't know, just a gift from God, man. It's just, I look on the internet and I just be checking out what everybody doing and seeing what's out on the streets. And when I do, okay, I take that, I put that, I take that, and then I come with that. And then you know what I'm saying? I kind of do it as I go. But even like the younger group of guys that's rolling, you know what I'm saying? Like his car, I love his car. Every time I see his car, I look at his car because it reminds me of mine. And I wish I was riding with him in my purple Regal. I love his car. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of trying to, you know, it just comes to me, man. I keep a notepad on side my bed. At night, sometimes I can't sleep. I just get up and I jot something down. And I fall back to sleep. But it's just, I be happy to trap it right then so I could save it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it just come to me. But I always have like to be different. I like the details, just like what I got on. Everything got to match. Socks and all, everything got to match. And like I say, less is more. You know what I'm saying? So I be just trying to kind of do something that people ain't doing, but do some detailed stuff to make them scratch their head. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So before this XLR you just did, what was the last car that you put together for yourself? Man, I had a couple of Fleetwoods. Honestly, I treated them like work cars. I was driving them back and forth to work. I had a Burgundy one, and the Burgundy ended up getting wrecked. So what I did, like I was saying, Vaughn found me a blue one in Arizona that only had 28,000 miles. I got that car. It was super clean on the inside. So what I ended up doing, it was blue. So I said, you know what? I put a brand new blue top. I took the moldings off. I painted them blue. I painted the car back over the factory color blue it was. And I put, what was 17-inch, I put 17-inch 12s on it. Grill, you know, fifth. I made my belts and all that stuff. I put LED bulbs in there, you know what I'm saying? And that was my car. I drive back and forth to work. I put a sunroof in it. I put me a nice steering wheel in it, telescopic steering wheel. You know what I'm saying? And that was my car. I was driving back and forth to work. So yeah. What made you put your foot in this XLR? To get that bug back in you? Man, I was already going to do the car because my mother passed in 23. I was going to do the car in memory of my mother. But when I did that interview with you, and right after I did that interview, JC called me and he kind of ruffled my feathers a little bit. You know, that's when he told me, say, man, no disrespect. Well, whenever somebody come off like that, you already know where they're going with it. You know what I'm saying? That's just a nice way to say, you know what I'm talking about. So when he said that, he was like, yeah, man, I talked to a few of my partners, man, and we don't remember you coming down. So I took that and I just kept that inside. And I told people, I said, I got to get JC, man. I got to get him. I'm going to get him. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what made me, I probably wouldn't have went so hard. But I had to let him know I'm not the one to mess with when it comes to these cars because I respect what he do, period. I like what he do. He got a 79 a square Seville stretch. I love that car. Ooh, I love that car. I wish I had the money to buy it from him. I love it. It's nice and neat. He got it on point. But saying that to me, like, that's kind of like disrespectful, man, to a man that done so many cars for people in all these neighborhoods. And all I would say was like this man, if you did,
I say 5 cars for 10 of your partners. That ain't enough to mess with me, man. If you did 10 cars for 10 of your partners, that ain't enough to mess with me, man. I was doing people cars in every neighborhood. I'm the one put all these colors on the street. I did this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I'm not the person to be out in the street riding up and down. We used to ride Surfside everywhere. We used to ride. I used to ride with my customers. We used to ride Moab all the way to Surfside, riding in these pretty cars. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older, I had a family. So I had to come out of the streets. So I'm head down, ass up. I'm working. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to be out there playing in the street like that. I got bills. I got a house note and all this stuff. So
you think it's just because you was putting together so many cars for other people that maybe that might have outshined maybe some of the cars and, you know, not being on the same side of town, kind of?
I don't know. But even though, like you say, the cars out there is still my work. So I'm still shining. I'm just, you go to Papa's, you don't see the man back there preparing your food. You see the waiter. And that's all I am. I'm the waiter. I don't have to be out front. You know what I'm saying? As long as I know what I'm doing and I'm the one putting you out there, I'm pretty much like, I'm doing this for you. And I'm like, go out there and kill him, boy. Go out there and kill him. I tell you, when they pull out of my shop, I'm standing in the driveway like I'm a little kid. I'm like, oh, that motherfucker clean. Because I love it, man. I love it. I love doing stuff with my hands. I love it. And I love to make people happy, man. Yeah, I love to make people happy.
So what kind of drove you away? Because I know you kind of got into the bikes, building bikes, opposed to the slab. What kind of had drove you away from building slabs a little bit?
Like I say, the people, the young people, it's like our younger generation, man, not all of them. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to be all the, you know, but a lot of them, they don't have no respect. You know what I'm saying? For their self, for their parents or all that, they older people, they don't have respect. See, I got into it with a couple of people before, and I said, you know what? Because I got a very bad temper, but I'm a very cool guy. I help anybody. But what I did, I just said, you know what? Let me separate myself from this before I end up going to jail, before I end up putting somebody's mom on the front row. And I don't want to do that because people retaliate. I don't want nobody to hurt my kids. You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? It ain't worth the money or the, you know, so I just backed away, man. And I just actually pick and choose people that I even fool with. But Didi went to jail. And he told me he was telling people in jail, they was telling him, yeah, man, he said, when I get out, I'm taking my car to Ernest. They said, man, Ernest don't do that no more. Ernest done. He said, let me tell you something. If Ernest don't do my car, I ain't riding elbows no more. And when he came home and told me that story, I had to do his car because I'm the one that done all his cars ever since he had a car. So I had to do it for him. That's my nigga. Yeah, that's Byron McCullough. That's my nigga. Didi. Yeah, and we got something in store for him right now. Yeah, we all got stretches. We all got stretches. We finna stretch far and wide, baby.
I know you had gave a mesquite taste on the last video. Just
I'm gonna let the cat out the bag.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad you called me up here.
Well, shit.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you called me up here. So since we talking, you know, Mr. Stretch, I want to challenge Mr. Stretch in a build-off. Just for the culture, for the streets. Just a friendly, you know what I'm saying?
Who was Mr. Stretch?
JC, Jonathan Coleman, Walsh Ness. You know, he's supposed to be the man with the stretches. So I want to challenge him in a build-off. I'm putting together a stretch rivet, something that never been done before. And all I'm going to tell you right now, he better get all them Mexicans he know. He better get all them boys he was talking about. They better collaborate. They better go in the lab together. And they better make sure they dot their I's and cross their T's. Because what I'm finna do to this car right here is like Star Trek. I'm finna go where no man has gone before. See, I got a slick mouth and I can back it up. But when it comes to stuff like this, nobody can compare to me, man. Period. And I mean that. And I stand on that. So if he's willing to take the challenge, I'm willing to go there with him.